IELTS Reading. 10 Top Tips. Examiner Approved Reading Tips. IELTS Reading, 10 Top Tips. For many academic IELTS candidates, reading is the hardest paper and the one which requires most training. Here I suggest some different ways to make that training as efficient as possible. These pieces of advice are fairly general and are designed to help you think about the best way to train yourself in IELTS reading and how to avoid some common mistakes. IELTS Reading. 11 Top Tips. 1. Overcome anxiety. Confront fear by engaging in extensive reading. 2. Enhance core skills. Develop proficiency in skimming, scanning, and detailed reading. 3. Effective time control. Experiment with time management strategies to identify what suits you best. 4. Question-centric approach. Concentrate on the questions to prevent avoidable mistakes. 5. Familiarize with exam structure. Understand the IELTS reading test, recognizing different question types. 6. Skill development, not assessment. Focus on training and honing skills rather than merely testing yourself. 7. Master underlining techniques. Learn the art of underlining to highlight crucial information. 8. Exercise caution with word matching. Be mindful when matching words and pay attention to key terms. 9. Follow the text flow. Understand that questions typically correlate with the order of information in the text. 10. Prioritize reading order. Decide whether to read the questions or the text first during your exam approach. 11. Complete the answer sheet confidently. Successfully fill out the answer sheet with accuracy and confidence. Overcome anxiety. Confront fear by engaging in extensive reading. My first suggestion is to read as much as possible. By this I don't mean do endless IELTS practice tests, I mean do as much general reading as possible. I suggest you focus on reading short articles on topics that interest you or on topics that are common in IELTS. Newspapers and magazines are a great resource here. One reason why this is such a good idea is that many candidates freeze in the reading believing it is too hard and so fail to get their band score. If, however, you read enough native English before the exam, you will become more and more confident in looking at texts where you don't understand every word. Confidence is a very important concept in IELTS. Read as much as possible. Develop a reading habit, cultivate a daily habit of reading varied materials. It could be newspapers, magazines, academic articles, or literature. The more you read, the more comfortable and confident you'll become in dealing with diverse topics. Vary your reading material. The IELTS reading section encompasses different text types, including academic articles, newspapers, and advertisements. Read a mix of materials to expose yourself to various writing styles and topics. Focus on academic texts. Given that the IELTS test is academic in nature, prioritize reading materials related to science, social sciences, and humanities. This will prepare you for the more complex texts you might encounter in the exam. Improve reading speed. Practice reading efficiently to manage your time effectively during the exam. Train yourself to quickly grasp the main ideas and locate specific information within a text. Underline key points. Develop the habit of underlining or highlighting important information while reading. This can be helpful when you need to refer back to the text to answer questions. Enhance vocabulary. A rich vocabulary aids in understanding complex texts. Make a habit of noting down and learning new words as you come across them in your reading practice. Summarize paragraphs. After reading a paragraph, practice summarizing the main ideas. This helps improve your comprehension skills and ensures you stay engaged with the text. Practice skimming and scanning. Skim through a passage quickly to grasp its main idea, and then scan for specific details. These skills are crucial for efficiently tackling the different question types in the IELTS reading section. Time yourself. Mimic exam conditions by setting a timer during your practice sessions. This will help you gauge your reading speed and improve your ability to manage time during the actual test. Diversify genres. Read materials from different genres such as essays, reports, and editorials. This will expose you to varied writing styles and structures. Join reading groups. Engage in discussions about what you read. This not only reinforces your understanding but also exposes you to different perspectives, helping you approach reading comprehensively. Remember, consistent practice is key to overcoming any fear or anxiety related to the IELTS reading section. Happy reading! Summarize paragraphs. After reading a paragraph, practice summarizing the main ideas. This helps improve your comprehension skills and ensures you stay engaged with the text. Practice skimming and scanning. Skim through a passage quickly to grasp its main idea, and then scan for specific details. These skills are crucial for efficiently tackling the different question types in the IELTS reading section. Time yourself. Mimic exam conditions by setting a timer during your practice sessions. This will help you gauge your reading speed and improve your ability to manage time during the actual test. Diversify genres. Read materials from different genres such as essays, reports, and editorials. This will expose you to varied writing styles and structures. Join reading groups. Engage in discussions about what you read. This not only reinforces your understanding but also exposes you to different perspectives, helping you approach reading comprehensively. Remember, consistent practice is key to overcoming any fear or anxiety related to the IELTS reading section. Happy reading! Effective time control. Experiment with time management strategies to identify what suits you best. Because the texts are so long, you need to have a definite strategy for how you manage your time in the exam to make sure you finish on time. This means deciding how long you look at the text before answering questions, how long you spend on each question, how long you spend on each group of questions, how long you spend on each text. Do you leave time at the end to go back and look at unanswered questions? Question-centric approach. Concentrate on the questions to prevent avoidable mistakes. The texts in IELTS are typically quite hard, so candidates spend as much time as possible reading the texts. Mistake. Why? Well, a huge amount of mistakes are made by not focusing enough on the exact question. It can be easy if you are in a hurry to miss a word such as always or often. The problem is those sorts of words can change the meaning of questions. There is an easy solution to this problem. It is to go back and look at the question before you write in the answer. Make sure that the question says what you think it says. You will normally save yourself 2/3 marks this way. Familiarize with exam structure. Understand the IELTS reading test, recognizing different question types. There are 8/9 different types of reading question that examiners may use. Before the exam, you should make yourself familiar with each type of question as they are slightly different. First step to see what the question types are. The next stage is to experiment and see what techniques you are going to use for each type of question. This may mean that you approach different types of questions differently. Skill development, not assessment. Focus on training and honing skills rather than merely testing yourself. One common mistake candidates make is to practice exam questions too much. Exam practice is important to learn the timing, 3 above, and learn the question types, 5 above, but that does not mean that every time you practice reading you need to do it in exam conditions. My suggestion is that you do some open book tests where you can see the answers as you do the questions. This way you will learn how examiners set questions and how to find the answers. If you just test yourself, this may not happen. How often and when you do this training will depend on your preparation program. Master underlining techniques. Learn the art of underlining to highlight crucial information. This is a very specific piece of advice. You may believe it is wrong to write in books, and generally I'd agree with you, but IELTS is different. A very strong suggestion is that you should underline words in the text in the exam. There are at least two reasons for this. If you underline keywords in the text, it can help you organize the text, and this will save your time in the exam. If you find an answer, it is sensible to underline the part of the passage that relates to the question as a check, see 4 above, and to write the number of the question next to it in case you find a better answer later. How you do this will depend on you and your style. Some people underline different types of words in different ways. I'd only add that less is more. If you underline too much, it can become confusing. Exercise caution with word matching. Be mindful when matching words and pay attention to key terms. One very common mistake is to match a word in the question with a word in the text and to think you have found your answer. It is almost never that simple, and I am tempted to say that if the words don't match, then that is not your answer. What you are normally looking for are either synonyms, words with a similar meaning, or paraphrases, short bits of text that say the same as the question. One reason candidates make this mistake is that teachers tend to say look for keywords in the question. This is helpful advice to show you where the answer might be and which paragraph it might be in. After that, you need to go back and read the whole question carefully to see what the answer is. Follow the text flow. Understand that questions typically correlate with the order of information in the text. This is a very practical piece of advice and could save you a lot of wasted time. Typically, the questions will come in the order of the text. So the answer to question 3 will come after the answer to question 2. This can be very helpful in the exam if you are a quick worker who goes through the questions once for the easy ones and then a second time for the harder ones. If you have answer 4 underlined, see 7 above, and answer 6 underlined, then you know where answer 5 must come. One word of warning. In certain types of question, e.g. paragraph matching, the order of the questions are jumbled. Prioritize reading order. Decide whether to read the questions or the text first during your exam approach. There is no one right answer here. Textbooks tend to advise you to read the text quickly first so that you know how the text is organized. This helps as you will save time later by knowing which paragraph will contain the answer. This can be a good approach, particularly for high-level candidates, provided you don't spend too much reading and you have notes/underlinings afterwards. Many teachers say that you should read the questions first and not read the whole passage. There is logic here too. Normally, you do not have to understand the meaning of the whole passage to answer the questions, so why waste time reading it? This approach can work, especially for lower-level candidates who might not understand too much of the passage anyway. However, there is always a third way. Life is not black and white. It is quite possible to decide to use different strategies for certain question types. In paragraph matching, you are going to have to read the whole passage, so you might decide to read first then. In the short answer questions, you might decide to look at the questions first. As ever, you decide. Complete the answer sheet confidently. Successfully fill out the answer sheet with accuracy and confidence. Practice filling out the answer sheet before you get to the exam. Too many avoidable mistakes are made this way. I'd go further. Whenever you practice IELTS reading, use an answer sheet. 2 points. 1. When you go through the answers in your practice book, make sure that you have written the answer exactly as it is in the book, anything else will lose you the point. 2. You need to fill out your answers in the 60 minutes. They don't give you any more time.